This organization was the brainchild of James Dick, who was a prominent Knoxvillian in broadcasting. His legacy is still alive in the fact that the Tennessee Theater exists. Frankly, he saved the theater from the wrecking ball and again contributed heavily to the latest upgrade of the theater about 10 or 12 years ago. And in fact, you see his portrait in oil in the Tennessee Theater in the lobby. James Dick was an amazing man who had visited a school in Nashville called the W.O. Smith Community Music School and thought, we've got to have this here in Knoxville. So he came back and gathered 75 of his closest friends and said, "You're on my board." And you couldn't say no to James Dick. He was a big heart and a big-hearted man in the community. And so that was back in 1998. The organization was founded. The only difference between the Joy of Music School and the school in Nashville is that here all the lessons and classes are at no charge. In Nashville they charge a token sum, which he didn't even want to have that barrier for a family. So the model included volunteer teachers giving private lessons, and in the early days they were situated in the Boys and Girls Club, not far from our current site. And then as the organization grew, we acquired this location right on the freeway near 17th Street exit, near downtown Knoxville, and really began to expand. But Mr. Dick was a real proponent of music education and what it did for young kids. And he was seeing that the school districts were cutting and slashing music programs and decided to do something about it. So that inspiration got him and a lot of civic-minded people in the early days of the organization started, and we're so grateful that he ever even thought of it. The Joy of Music School provides tuition-free music lessons for kids from age 6 to 18. We provide the instruments, the music, and a private teacher, a teacher mentor, in fact. The mentorship program is strong here, so when kids have this connection in a studio, like the one we're sitting in now, that one-on-one time with an adult for a kid outside their neighborhood, their church, their family, their everything, their school, that's a very strong relationship. So we believe strongly in that connection. But honestly, the benefit primarily is musical. The kids are learning a language, they're learning to communicate, they're learning to depend on one another and to have others depend on them. So we offer those classes, individual lessons and group classes. So kids will get started on guitar, for example, in a small group playing baritone ukuleles with their small hands. And as they grow and they get bigger, we put a guitar in their hands and they'll go into private lessons. We also start kids off in general music classes, just so they have the basics under control before they get into a private lesson with a teacher when they're a couple of years older. We also do outreach in the community. We're in a lot of after-school sites, Boys and Girls Clubs, Emerald Youth Foundation, UFO, Urban Family Outreach, Wesley House, etc. Teaching general music classes to kids who can't come to our site here in downtown Knoxville. These are all kids from underserved schools, and it's a great opportunity for kids to get or maybe enhance the music training that they might be getting at their schools but might not. So we're really proud. We're reaching about 150 kids here, and then out in outreach in 600 to 800 kids all around the Knoxville area and even outside the area in East Tennessee. So yeah, that covers what we offer. We're really grateful to the volunteers who give their time to teach here. We have right now about 70 volunteer teachers, and prior to the pandemic we were well over 100. So we are bouncing back, pulling the lessons offline. We do have some lessons online still, about a quarter of them are online. That was necessitated by the pandemic, but we are now doing our best to get fully open and running entirely in person. But we're not going to turn away a kid who has to have a lesson online or a teacher who will only teach online. It's all about opportunity, and if that's only going to happen on a Zoom lesson, then we're going to support it. We exist to sort of counteract the consistent cuts in music education in the public schools. I've been tracking that for years, and the number never goes up. The number of dollars never goes up, or if it does, it's only incremental. And meanwhile, the kids who want music lessons are still there. They still have talent. It's still in the community, but it's not being trained. So we focus on making sure kids, from no matter where they are in the community, from low-income homes, can come here and get everything they need for a quality music education. I got involved with the organization in its third year of existence by joining the board of directors when I was running the Knoxville Opera and getting the Rossini Festival started, et cetera. And at that time, the organization was offering only a few classes and individual lessons to about 49 kids. Since then, we've of course grown a lot. At our height, we were teaching 220 kids before the pandemic, and in the house, and then outreach, we were at 1,000 kids. So what we added after a few years was outreach, and that is how we began to get out into the community to kids who can't come to us. So like I say, before the pandemic, we were over 1,000 kids in outreach. We're still, between 600 and 800 right now, but the fact is a lot of kids just can't get here, and we understood that, so that's why we extended our reach and are reaching a lot more kids. Well, other changes involve the quality of the instruments that we're putting in kids' hands. At the very beginning, we were taking anything we could get, and donations are still strong of instruments. But we are working hard now on making sure kids have quality instruments in their hands, just like the kids whose families can easily pay for it. We think that every kid should have an instrument that will respond to whatever they're putting into it, and that will be durable. When we put kids in the early days in low quality instruments, they would break constantly, and the kids would have to bring them in, we'd have to repair them and spend a lot of time and money taking care of instruments. So we're grateful when people can donate quality instruments to the organization. It's just better for the kids overall, better for the music education, and their teachers like it better when they're teaching on a quality instrument. Yeah, the most popular instruments are violin and piano, and guitar pulling up third place pretty closely. But we offer instruction on just about every instrument in the orchestra. But also singing. We have a production and engineering class for kids who are creating music on computers, using apps and using the microphones and keyboards. It's really quite impressive to watch some of our older kids create beats and rap to them or sing to them. Yeah, in fact, just yesterday I was listening to several of our kids' creations and really enjoying the creativity and the fact that they're creating music that they're listening to. Let's face it, we're not all sitting down and putting on our headphones and listening to a clarinet concerto, and we have plenty of clarinet kids, and we love clarinet, but a lot of kids are hearing popular music, which is almost all created on a keyboard. I mean, Taylor Swift can write a song sitting on her couch with a laptop, so a lot of our kids are curious about that modality, and we provide them the opportunity. Yeah, when COVID hit, in 1 week we went from in-person to all online Zoom lessons. And music lessons aren't the best thing over a Zoom connection, let's face it. I mean, a teacher has to be in the room with you to help be sure your posture and technique are correct, and if you're breathing, they need to hear the breathing and feel it. But it was necessary at the time, so we spent a good amount of time and energy getting the organization sort of switched over to an all-online model. Now that we're emerging from the pandemic, of course, we've reopened and we're in person, but we still have about 25% of our lessons online. We don't want to deprive anyone of opportunity, so we're not just saying to people, sorry, we're done with online lessons. We want to be sure that people have opportunity and the ability to keep interacting with their teacher and the teacher ability to keep interacting with their student. But that was the main disruption. Of course, like every other business and nonprofit, we had a fall off in revenue, and we had to tighten our belts and apply for funding to help us get through the pandemic, and that's been helpful so far. And now coming out of it, we are focused strongly on recruiting teachers and families whose kids might want to have a tuition-free music education, a weekly lesson, maybe play in an ensemble. And anyone in the community who's got musical training under their belt and might want to give back in a unique way, you can volunteer and teach at the Joy of Music School on a weekly basis, and it is entirely fulfilling. I've never had someone start teaching here and say, oh, I don't like this, I want to quit. It's a very good feeling to contribute to a kid, to a family, and to the community using your musical training. We expect an increase of students for sure because we're working so hard at it. Life has changed. Post-pandemic, some families have a different rhythm, different cadence, and we're working to ensure we engage families post-pandemic and making sure that they will find value in what they can get out of here, out of the Joy of Music School, and that teachers will find it valuable too. So yeah, I do expect enrollment to increase, and we're working hard at it. Yeah, our expansion plans include getting more time and teaching with our students so that we can form even more performing ensembles. That's going to require some changes to our physical setup. We want kids to be able to stay in the building and take a break after their music lesson and do their homework or get something to eat here, and then go into their band rehearsal or go into their orchestra rehearsal or strings group rehearsal afterward. That's going to involve some expansion, and we're primed for it, and we want to make services better, all-encompassing, and so the families don't have to wait for their kids while they're in their lesson. We want to be sure the kids can stay here in a safe and welcoming environment so they can excel through music. Yeah, COVID cut our volunteer teacher enrollment figures by about 40%. And we are fighting back, and people are already getting interested in signing back up again. We really engage people now through the summer to get them started in the fall. Tomorrow is our spring recital, so that marks an end to most of our programming. We do have summer programming, but families' rhythms change in the summer. Therefore, it makes it harder for us to continue with all of the kids in lessons and classes for the summer. But all the kids who want to, as long as their teacher is up for it, we extend through the summer for them. But the fall, when school gets back rolling, we also get rolling, and that's when we expect enrollment to pick up and our numbers to increase again, because we will have been pushing in all modes of media to generate interest and regenerate interest in the change that we can affect on the community through music, through young people's commitment, their energy, their artistry, their education. It's just a value proposition that can't be beat. It's so rewarding to be here at the school and watch the kids in the halls, the energy they get from their teachers, to watch teachers proud of their kids. I've had so many moments I can't even dig in and pull them all out, but I'll say I know of one teacher who came to me and said he was so proud when he ran into his student in the grocery store, and the kid was with his family, and the kid introduced the teacher to his family proudly, saying, "Hey, this is my teacher." When the instructor heard that, he said, that just really felt very special. I knew the time I was giving as a volunteer music teacher felt good to give to the community, but that helped me see what I'm giving to a family. That's very rewarding. And yes, of course, we're very happy when kids graduate this program and go on to music scholarships and even work in the music profession, whether they're teaching or performing. There's a long list of kids who've gone straight from the Joy of Music School to college music scholarships, many of them at University of Tennessee, some University of Georgia comes to mind, University of Hartford in Connecticut, even the Juilliard School. So that's terrific, and we love kids' talent and hard work that carries them there, and it feels very rewarding for me and for our whole team. But there's also the extra musical benefit that we see kids developing discipline, focus, even the growing brain that's growing on music. You're growing a better brain. So kids come out of here with confidence, a better way of socially interacting with people, because that performing experience really builds them up. So yeah, the transformation that takes place through music education is extremely rewarding for me, for our teachers, and of course, we love seeing it in the kids. I want people to understand that there's a great opportunity if they have musical training, that you can help your community with that. You have got something that I like to glibly say is rattling around in the back of your head that you can offer to a young person and to a family. You can change a child's life with those 10 years of piano lessons that might be still in you. We guide, we provide curriculum, we provide materials. You're not on your own here if you come here to volunteer to teach, and you can truly be a music mentor, a teacher, and make a difference in your community and in a family's life. Yeah, our website is really the best way to check in and let us know you're interested in getting involved. Parents, if you want your kids to get music lessons, just go to the website and click on Be a Student, and we will walk you through the process. Likewise, if someone wants to volunteer to teach music, our website is the best portal to do that. There's a form there to fill out. We reach back out, we interview, we check, we make sure that you're ready and that we're ready, and we're really zooming ahead to get our enrollment up this fall. So it takes time. So the earlier the better that people reach out, we get connected, and we can get a good, strong start come September.